Welcome everyone. Um, Thank you for watching the last video. This video will be about automating the personal brand workflow, right? So basically, in the last few videos, I have hinted at that I'm going to be working on automating my personal brand and the process of building a personal brand. And so part of it is that I'm going to be explaining a lot of the different things that I work on to be able to make sure that I can automate this personal, like my personal brand. There's a few things about this that I have to sort of kind of mention. One of which is that I definitely started off with what I consider my core tenets or core tenets and pillars of my character. And so these two, for those who are familiar with this, is that my life goal is to build technology that automates the production and distribution of basic needs. And the end goal is to terraform the Sahara Desert. The reason why is because the population is increasing, global warming is becoming more and more apparent that it's changing the climate, and it's just something fun to do. And so to achieve these two goals, I have to be able to do four main activities. And these four main activities define aspects of my brand. My background has been software development, and so I am moving into a different field of things with this. Obviously, I can't just be a software developer to achieve these goals. I have to do entrepreneurship and a bunch of other things. But to keep it simple, one of the things I have to do is program software that can help automate the production and distribution of basic needs. The other thing is create content, right? What is a personal brand if you don't have content that educates people on your personal brand and what your personal brand is about and what your personal brand offers people or what you offer people? The personal brand is just a vehicle, right? It's a fancy way of saying here's how you have branded yourself online. And so the other aspect of this is that I need to create content, right? Content about my journey to achieving these larger goals. And then the other thing is that I have to collaborate with people. So during those collaborations, I have to be able to build partnerships and relationships, which also kind of ties into how the consultations work. But collaboration specifically to build partnerships and relationships to help me achieve my vision, my life goal. And then consultation is basically to work with other people to be able to help them learn some of the things that I have been learning on this journey to this. Now, to kind of zoom out a bit here before I really get too deep into this, the whole personal brand can be broken into a few things. There's the planning phase where I plan what I need to accomplish, what I need to do, what I need to build, what kind of meetings I need to have. Then there's the value creation phase. This is the phase in which I do things, I complete tasks to create value. There's the last phase, which is not the last phase. The next phase is to distribute that value. So once you create value, you have to distribute it, right? The other way, and so let me finish here before I kind of go on a whole tangent. This is also why I choose to have scripts, but feedback has been that I suck at reading scripts, so I'm not gonna read scripts anymore. But I will have some of these things that can help. So you go from planning what value you're gonna create. Then you create the value. Then you have to distribute that value through different platforms, through different social media accounts, through just social media and the internet. You have to distribute the value you create. Lastly, you have to exchange value, right? So once you've distributed the value to your audience, to your customers, to your followers, they have to exchange it for, they don't have to, but eventually you should sell a product or service or something that your audience can be able to support you. You see, this whole thing is not only inspired a lot by Dan Coe, shout out to Dan Coe, but it's also in his, in one of his things, he talks about how the whole purpose, the whole goal of creating, like the whole goal of the modern economy is that you use your skills to create value. So if you're a graphic designer, you use your skills as a graphic designer to create value, which is graphics for a company, graphics such as logos, graphics such as images that go on Instagram and social media content and stuff like that. As a programmer, for example, that's another different example of a person who uses the skill sets to create value, and that value is exchanged for money. In this case, it is to build software that the employer or the programmer, such as myself, would build and put out and share, and then sell that service for a monthly subscription or to license it, right? So this whole system does hinge on you having skills that you can be able to produce value and exchange value for money, because that's how the economy works. you're not just gonna sit around and be pretty, and not have something to offer the world other than if your prettiness is what you offer the world in exchange for money, then I mean, yeah, do you. But since I'm not pretty, what I can offer the world is my services, my skills, and the products I can build using my skills and the skills that I've built over time. And so these four phases essentially is the phases in which in my personal brand I go through and I'm refining it, right? So this is a process, right? So let's say 10 videos from now, this might be different and this might be improved. When I first showed this to my friends, it was a bit different and I improved it over time. And so we'll kind of go over it a little bit. I will also show you guys some of the softwares I use. These are not sponsored by any of the softwares. It's just right now, currently, how I am planning to automate my personal brand. So in the planning phase, we go through something called sprint planning. Now, to truly explain what sprint planning is, it is the planning of tasks that you have to complete to build and deliver a software. So the software in question here is called Poly. Poly is the software. I'll actually demo it a little bit. But Poly is the software where I'll be able to have agents work on different tasks that help me produce value and distribute that value to my audience, to my followers, and to my customers, right? And so sprint planning is me planning the tasks I have to do to make sure that I'm actually able to complete the building of that software, deliver it, and use it to be able to help me continuously create value. A lot of the content from here onwards will be about Poly. There is sort of a delicate balance that I have to strike. I have to strike a balance between people who are super technical, who want me to kind of show the code and go into the code and explain what systems architecture I'm using, microservices versus event-based services versus monolithic architecture. I mean, for this one, I'm going to the monolithic architecture because I'm a single main developer for this. So I'm not going to do microservices because that's a bit more complicated and harder to sustain over time. And so sprint planning is just planning tasks that I'm going to complete to build this software. Now, the next thing is my content calendar. My content calendar, it sort of kind of drives from my core, my two core principles, goals, visions, whatever you want to call them. I have to build content for that. I have to build content to explain what it is, to explain the journey to getting to those visions accomplished, and what I'm learning on the way there. So, a content calendar is a calendar that describes the content that you're going to produce for your audience, right? And part of this includes Instagram, Facebook, like what are we going to put there, right? The way I'll kind of structure it is I'll start off with topics and things that I want to be able to communicate. So for this phase, for example, for the next 2-3 months, the content will be heavily focused on Poly. Not me, Poly, but Poly, the software I'm building. And so the other thing, the reason why I said not me Polly is because my name is Princeps Polycap, and people call me Polly. So yeah, for those who don't know. So let's so content calendar. It's content that it's a calendar for content that I'm going to publish. Basically, it's saying, hey, tomorrow I'm going to publish a blog post about Poly's architecture and how I am building the back end of it, and that would be geared more to engineers. So I'll kind of move on to the last calendar here. And the calendar, basically, all three of these are calendars. All three of these do function in part as calendars for me to plan, right? Because we all use calendars to make sure that we plan for things that we want to accomplish. So the last one is the professional calendar. Typically, this is where people would be able to book meetings with me. A really good software that I use is actually Cal. I did used to use Calendly. I just don't use Calendly anymore. And so now I use something called Cal. Cal is really actually amazing. And this is not sponsored by them. But if you're using Calendly, check out Cal. They have way more options and way more integrations. And they're worth switching to. And, definitely it's also open source. And they have a really good UI. And it's really, really amazing. So I'd say check out Cal. So Cal is actually what I use for scheduling meetings. And the next thing that I use is actually called Supernormal. Supernormal is also another software that I do use that allows me to be able to not only have an agent come to my meetings, but it also allows that agent to take notes in my meeting. I guess since I'm logged in, it kind of goes back and forth on it. But Supernormal is really good, and Supernormal is actually what allows me to be able to take meeting notes and then have those. Yeah, so you see Cal for meeting scheduling, Supernormal for meeting recording and notes, and then Supernormal also creates tasks from those meetings, and then those tasks go to my tasks here. Um, you'll see I have kind of notes down here for different softwares that I use, and I'll show you guys some of them. Up here, Notion is the one which I'll probably end up using for the sprint planning calendar, probably also for the content calendar, because I already have a template that helps with that. So all these sprint planning leads to tasks, right? So let's say there's a task to design a chat window for agents to talk within. There's a task to create the backend to be able to have a server that can be able to manage to be able to manage the files the user uploads, to be able to then have agents use those files to create content from. And so, for the content calendar, there's tasks that I should work on to create the content. And then for the professional calendars, obviously the tasks from the meetings that I discuss, some of the follow-up, some of the things that I have to execute, because the meeting is basically us coming together to discuss something. And after that meeting, they should be action items. And those action items are typically tasks. So from these tasks, typically, if I didn't have Poly, I would just sort of kind of do them myself, right? But this kind of gets into the whole subject of what is Poly. And so there's two ways to be able to understand what is Poly. One of which is, I'm going to show you guys Autogen. So for those who are not familiar, Poly is a system that I'm working on that can enable me to have agents work together, similar to how people in a team would work together to be able to complete tasks. And these tasks would be to create content, for example, and this content would be content that would be posted on other social media platforms such as Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, etc. And so I could just go to present. I didn't even know. The more you learn. So Poly allows for that. But the thing is that I'm not going to be able to switch between tabs. So I don't know about that. So basically, oh yeah, it still works. Oh, no. So basically, Poly is a software that I'm building that it will enable me to do that. So here, I'll actually set up, I'll show you guys how it works through Autogen. Autogen is a software, for those who don't know, it's a framework actually that allows agents to talk to each other. So for those who don't know what Autogen is basically a library. How can I say this without making it complicated? Just think of it as a way for agents to talk to each other. What is an agent? An agent is an AI that has the ability to use tools, has memory, has the personality, or think of a sales agent. A sales agent should be able to make calls and complete sales, right? It is different, it's different from ChatGPT because ChatGPT can't do things on your behalf. So it is important that not only do I have agents do things on my behalf, such as write blog posts, but if they're able to talk to each other, they can actually improve the blog post. And I've been working on this for some time now, and I'll show you a little bit of that. And as always, tech demos never go as planned. So for example, this one is not running for some reason. Seems like it's initializing some JavaScript and TypeScript language features, so that might take some time. And so to kind of just keep going with this, the other thing that I really want to kind of mention is that think of the agents being able to do these tasks that I put on a calendar, right? So basically I have a meeting, or I do sprint planning, or I do content planning, right? Here's the content we're going to create for the newsletter, for example, and then it's going to create a task. I'm going to create tasks on calendars for this. So as soon as I create a task, then the agents will look at that, and then they'll be able to say, hey, I need to start doing this, right? So if the task is to write a blog post, there will be a workflow for an agent who can be able to write blog posts, probably a few agents, right? And once they write the blog post, Poly will just basically, tell the agents, hey, there's this task, create this blog post, create this blog post. Once he creates that blog post is posted automatically to Audienceful. Audienceful is what I use, or what I'm going to use, to be able to not only build a newsletter, but also publish directly to my Webflow. So here, Audienceful is basically a software that allows you to be able to build your newsletter, but also can post automatically to, not automatically, but it can post directly to Webflow. Webflow is what I'm going to use both as my link tree, but also as my I don't have 650 million followers right now, so hopefully we get there. but it's basically the place where I'll be able to sort of kind of share with you guys my availability. I'll also share my newsletter there, my blogs, different blogs that I write, the different events that I do. So this is not completed. I like to wear also my own design merch. Also here you'll see the different books. So I'm still building this out. Obviously I'm building a lot, and so there's only one of me, and so it takes some time for me to build this. Here's sort of kind of the other side of my brand. This will kind of explain like who I am, my story, and stuff like that. And so to go back to this, so the blog will be posted into Audienceful, and Audienceful will then post it on Webflow. Webflow will post the blogs and also kind of give people the ability to learn about me. The newsletter is also kind of where Audienceful comes in, because Audienceful is basically for newsletters, and I like the UI. From the blog, we'll break a blog, for example, into multiple posts, right? So I can make a video from a blog, and that blog initially was supposed to serve as a script, but now it will serve more as an outline for me to be able to to be able to have a structure to the video. There's no blog post for this specifically, so maybe there will be a blog post after this video goes up, because I can then basically take this transcript from the video and then turn it into a blog post that can basically also help me rank higher in SEO, and also bring out, when people search me up, bring my website in so that they can learn a bit more about me. Because the whole reason for a personal brand is to have people learn about you. And there's a thing that I didn't have time for, which is that I didn't have time to create content to then share with other people what I'm doing, right? When I travel to like Egypt, when I travel to Thailand, when I travel to like Colombia, the Dominican Republic, Brazil, when I travel to all these places, I might not have the ability to shoot videos all the time. I'm usually pretty tired because I'm working on code, I'm solving problems, I have a business that I also have to do on the side. So I have a lot of things going on, just like you, right? And so you don't have time to create content. And not that you don't have time to create content, it would be much better and much more efficient if you had a system of agents who can work in behind the scenes to create the content for you and share with other people what you're doing, right? Because I don't stop doing things just because I'm not posting about it. I do a lot of things, actually. It's why I don't have time to post about it. So this automated brand, I'm still trying to work on the word or the name, but the automated brand building workflow allows me to build my brand automatedly so that I can focus on actually creating value. You see, the value is what I can use my skills to create. Like, I use my skills to create value. I don't want to share that value with you, but I want to share the journey of me creating that value so you can learn from that journey, right? So you don't want to, I don't want to get to a point where I have gotten to the end of my value creation. I give you a product, show you a website, I show you like, oh, hey, here's my company. Oh, hey, here I'm traveling the world and I'm like doing this and I don't have to like work a day job. You would probably be confused how I got to those points in my life. And so having the ability for me to communicate with you and share with you the journey and what I learned through it is really, 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 really important. And that's why I'm building this, right? Because for the whole vision of terraforming a desert or automating the means of production, I have to not only share with you what I'm learning on that journey, but me sharing that with you will allow you to either join me on that journey or learn from me so that you can accomplish similar goals and dreams for yourself. And so once we have a post, and I should mention this, for each of these squares, it is typically a team of agents. So it's not just one agent doing something. It could be, right? There's some situations where it is one agent doing something. For example, once I shoot this video, I'll put it into something called Opus. Opus is for clipping YouTube videos. Do I have Opus open? Opus is for clipping YouTube videos. And these are not, like, the reason why I'm showing you guys this, it's not because I'm like sponsored by them or I care anything about it. Like, it's just because I can show you this so that you can be able to kind of learn from them. So basically, these guys use this platform to put in a YouTube like link, and then that YouTube link, or just a video clip link, that video clip link allows them to then clip the video into clips that you can then share on your platforms, such as this one, right? So I'm going to clip this one and I'm probably upload it as YouTube Shorts. So that's a specific, it's not an agent. Well, not an agent I built, but it's an agent that allows me to be able to clip large landscape videos into portrait videos that I can then share on TikTok, YouTube Shorts, Instagram Reels, Facebook Stories, WhatsApp Stories. You get the point. And so for what I wanted to say here is the distribution of value, the distribution of learning, the lessons. You know, part of why I'm making the content is that the value is in the lessons I learn and I can share with you. So there's the value at the end of it where I accomplish the goal of automating the means of production, right? That is so far ahead that it's going to be such a long journey to get there, and I want you to be able to be part of that and learn from that, right? Like, think about why do I go to the gym? What is my philosophy about that kind of stuff? And these are some of the things that you'll learn about me through this that help me achieve this goal. And so I'll keep moving on. So these agents which will be able to kind of take a post, generate an image, and then use that image in, for example, Instagram, right? So the audience for Instagram and the audience for Twitter are a bit different. So I need to be able to have agents that can be able to focus in and refine the blog or the post or whatever I'm posting about to the audiences of these platforms, because the Twitter platform is entirely different from the LinkedIn platform, and so it is important that I have agents that are able to actually refine the content to be specific to the audience that platform caters to, right? And so lastly here, as we move into the last sort of phase, it is value exchange. And value exchange just essentially means it's an offer, right? So what am I offering you, right? As I keep saying, I'm offering you one thing. It is the ability for you to learn from the journey, learn from what I'm building, right? Learn how you can possibly automate your own personal brand. Another thing you can learn is how to use AI to be able to automate a bunch of different tasks, right? And some of those things are things that I can teach you and I can show you. That is what I'm offering you. Eventually, I will also offer you the product that I am building to be able to automate my own personal branding if you want to automate the building of your personal brand. You're already cool, you're already amazing, you're already out there doing great things, but you don't have time to sit there, clip videos, write blog posts, do the tasks that you need to do to be able to build a newsletter. You want a system that can be able to do that for you, so that you can just share with it what you already do, share with your audience what you already do. And so let me just check here. Am I still recording? Okay, cool. And so so what am I offering? So I can offer collaborations for money. Obviously, I don't do this for free. Poly is the software that I'm building. Subscribe to the software. So the offer eventually becomes this, right? You'll join the community for a paid community membership, so you can interact with other similar people like us or other people who are building this and kind of engage with us there. Or just join the podcast, like, join and meet me and hang out in like Discord, right? Or Telegram. And so I haven't determined the sixth offer. So, let me know if you have an idea of what I should offer you. Never mind. Consultation, obviously, for money, and then a newsletter. So that is typically, or so far, what I have defined as my personal brand and how I'm going to automate it, right? A lot of this is also built on agents being able to do things for me. So while I still have my lights still charged and they're still on, I'm going to show you some examples of how agents can be able to be useful for this. A good example is actually I posted a video earlier yesterday that kind of showed like I took a caption from Dan Coe. So it was Dan Coe's Instagram. Do I still have it open? It was Dan Coe's Instagram. I wonder if I just posted this, if I could actually just find the Instagram. So it was Dan Coe's Instagram, and from Dan Coe's Instagram, I took a caption from one of his images, and then I told the AIs to be able to create an image for me, right? Create an Instagram image that can show this concept, right? So the agents went and had those three messages back and forth. There's two agents in this. They talked for 14 seconds, and what they did was basically the first one was the one who shared it, and then the next one, the primary assistant, basically said to create an image that encapsulate this and kind of said blah blah blah, right? But I don't want to have to do this, so that's why I'm building the system. This is AutoGen. This is not something I built. Something I built, I'll show you later. So I'll actually pull that up. And I am talking really fast just because I don't want my lights to go off and I have a lot of coverage. So if I'm talking too fast, YouTube has the ability for you to kind of slow it down and make me sound a lot less fast. So Here, so once I told it to proceed and generate the images based on the caption from Danco's Instagram, here are the 10 files, 10 images that it created. You can see here that the agents talk to each other and kind of wrote code to be able to actually do the work that they needed to. Not only did they execute the code that was written, but they also used that code to create 10 images. This is what I mean. It is using agents and assistants to be able to augment the creating of value so you can share that value with your audience, right? And so you can imagine that some of these images can be posted on Instagram. Now, I didn't like them so much. And so one of the other things is that it doesn't do a good job with putting text on images, right? So one of the things is sort of kind of work with the framework that I'm working on, like work with the AI and the LLMs that sort of kind of just kind of learning how the AIs work so that you can be able to kind of help this. So can you simplify the images and also make sure the images don't have text? So that's what I said, and here's what it did. This, for example, would be something that I would actually save as a preference in that agent's system message, or in that agent's character. The one who creates images, I would tell it to, for social media images, not to put text on the images. When I told it not to do that, it created these images based on the caption. Now, they are. I should probably read the caption so that this makes sense. At the start, you create to make money. In the end, you make money to create. The pursuit of money almost always starts as superficial. That doesn't mean it's a bad thing to do. That may be the only way to expose yourself to depth. Like lifting weights, you start for vanity and stay for the therapy. When you find the intersection of what allows you to survive and what you enjoy doing every day, what helps other people improve life becomes meaningful and abundant. Yes, there are bad parts that come with making money, just like there are bad parts, there are bad lyrics of a song. Welcome to life. You'll never get rid of the bad. You just learn to zoom out and make sure the overarching narrative is good. If you want to learn more about this line of thought, I recommend picking up my book, Autofocus, on Amazon, right? So he kind of plugs his book. So this was from Dan Coe. And so you can kind of see that, lifting weights, right? He mentions that, and the pursuit of helps society improve, learning, reading, the journey. So you can kind of see that it's trying to take his concepts and put them into images that can be able to share with his audience. Here's also the other thing, right? How money can turn into creative pursuits, right? So he's trying to balance, and you can kind of see that the images are sort of trying to balance artistic pursuits with having to pay your bills. And so here's another really contrasting dichotomy, right, where you have on one hand money and then on the other hand pursuits. And I think that's how a lot of people think about it. But this would be, for example, an image or images that I can post on my Instagram carousel along with a caption similar to the one that he did. So I'm gonna show you. So this is Autogen, and so I'm gonna kind of show you guys what Poly looks like. This is Poly. Now I haven't made a video about Poly, but this is what I'm working on, and I am super proud of the design. I love the design. Has elements in which I truly appreciate. Now, I have a lot to do. This is by no means anywhere close to finished, but you'll have projects, you'll have workflows, you'll have skills and tasks, or I'll have, right? So I'll have a project where I'm working on, let's say, I also keep Dan Coe's, so he has YouTube and he has these really cool images and graphics. Anyways, long story short, this is Poly. This is Poly. And in Poly, you'll have projects, and in projects, you'll have workflows for agents to do work on, to complete things. You'll have the ability to have agents have skills, and then you'll have the ability to have tasks, right? These agents need to do tasks and to complete those with skills. I haven't quite settled on this part of the UI, but I will keep building this. So lastly, actually, if I was to kind of show you guys what the content plan, the sprint plan is. So here's kind of the content plan and the sprint plan is. So the sprint planning for this next phase is to develop a backend system that allows for a blog post agent writing team to create, write, generate images, and publish blog posts. The sprint goal is by the end of 2 weeks, we aim to have a functional Let me actually see if I can zoom in here. So those who want to read can read. So right here, you can actually see that. So let's go here. So sprint planning. So basically what I want to do is to be able by the end of the 2 weeks, we aim to have a functional backend system with all the necessary endpoints defined and implemented, as well as the corresponding front interface for users to interact with the system. Backend system, and this kind of gets into the technicals of it, right? So for the sake of keeping my watch time good, Jesus, for the sake of keeping my watch time good, I'm just gonna skip most of this. But typically, this is what would happen if I went back to my system. This is part of it. This is what's called sprint planning, planning for the tasks that I need to do to build the software and then create content from it. So my goal is that for I will try this. Lord help me. But it is for each of these milestones that I do accomplish, I want to be able to make a video about it, right? So once I have set up a system, it might be technical, so maybe I'll change my mind. But the whole thing is that I kind of asked it here to provide use cases that are some things that you can use this for. So an example of e-commerce product management, right? As a e-commerce entrepreneur, I can create projects and dedicated to managing. I can create a project dedicated to managing product listings across multiple platforms, including Shopify, WooCommerce, and eBay, right? So it is the ability to use this software, and I haven't even mentioned the software. Oh, wow. So I'll make that another video because there's a lot that I have to kind of talk about in terms of just in terms of like different documents I need to talk about for Poly. You see, there's a document that goes over what Poly is. Maybe I'll release it as a blog post. But this document kind of goes over the 30-second elevator pitch, the different things, why Poly has something like CSAP, Polybank, what does that even mean? There's also another document here that goes over like what Poly 1.0 is, which is the collaborative platform designed to streamline. How about this? I'll make that the next video. I promise you. So, without any further ado, thank you for watching. This video was about how to, what is the system that I'm going to use to automate my personal brand, right? Automated personal brand workflow. Automating my personal brand workflow. Automating my personal brand workflow. And so if you have any questions, let me know. If you want to have some discussions about how you can be able to automate your personal brand, let me know. There will be some way you can hit me up. Leave a comment in the section below, like the video, or don't. I mean, either way, I'm still going to be building this. So if you are interested in this, I don't have a newsletter up. So like I'm still setting it up. So you're going to have to like check in, subscribe. And then you can be able to kind of see the newsletter when it comes out. Here are some of the blogs. This is actually a video that I did last time. So I'm going to keep working on this. Obviously, I don't have any emails. I'm just starting off. So thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching all the way to the end. I will see you in the next one. All right. Bye-bye.